Well, let's see if it starts streaming on the channel. We might be streaming. I don't know.
Well, let's find out.
Okay.
Why don't I go into radio voice? Let's find out if we're streaming.
Whoops.
I have to go back to.
Oh, we are live now.
Okay, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, we can do this thing then.
All right.
All right, baby. Okay, now so tonight we don't have any pre-recorded billboards or opens to use for the show.
No,
this is yeah. So Rhino, just to keep us on an even keel and just kind of give us like something to build on, I'm just going to do something. Not going to use this every week.
Off the top of your head.
Yeah, but just to keep us, on an even keel.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Rhino and Cannon, a division of Beatrice. Brought to you by Silly String, Massagill and Massagill's Original Oil and Vinegar, now available in Ranch and Catalina. And now, Rhino and Cannon.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Well, this is our first.
Maybe we do use that every week.
I think we should use it every week. I have no problem with that at all. Hunter, well, first of all, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves and let everybody know what we're doing, okay? This is Rhino and Cannon Radio, and if you read AJ's Facebook earlier today, you realize that we are going to do a show. It may not always be politically correct.
It may almost never be politically correct. But tonight we're going to be kind of walking a line a little bit tonight just to kind of get the feel.
Yeah, and that's fine. We are going to talk sports, all right? I've been there. I understand. People tune into a sports station. They tune into a sports broadcast. And the minute you do something funny, and AJ, you know this from being,
well, sure.
We've been at 790. We've been at 680. Okay, we've been there. We've done these shows, and the minute you do something funny, someone calls and goes, "Just stick to sports, moron."
Yeah, that's called the 0.5%. If you want that kind of share, then you go with that kind of format.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are going to do sports.
Sure we are.
We're going to have fun with sports, though.
You know why, though? We're going to do sports because we're going to do the things we love. And sports is one of the things we love. But it's not all the things we love.
And it's hard to love it here in Atlanta right now.
Oh, because well, I don't know. If everybody's caught up in Atlanta United fever, I'm included in that. So that kind of taken the sting out of the whole Atlanta sports curse thing over the past few days.
It really did. It did. But then you have the naysayers at the same time that say, well, it's just soccer. Well, it's 73,019 people in the dome worth of soccer. So it is a big event.
Yeah, I had somebody, well, I love it. I'm a huge fan of the sport. But I actually picked up on it probably it was when Casey Keller was playing for Leicester City.
Okay.
I started watching the men's national team, U.S. men's national team. And so I, found out where Casey Keller was. It was after he moved on from Millwall, and he was playing for Martin O'Neill on Filbert Street. And so I started watching it, and it didn't take me long to understand. It's like, there's something to this.
Yeah.
I mean, there really is a high level of skill involved here.
Yeah.
And then having become a fan of that, I started watching the Atlanta Silverbacks. And then when the MLS team came here, I went nut, just like everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big promotion. Arthur Blank did it right. If you're going to do it, you do it right. And you bring them into the Benz. You're not playing somewhere off 85 in a side parking lot like the Silverbacks were. All right, you're playing in a stadium. And listen, I grew up playing soccer. But I was always that kind of person where, and I've always said it, if they were playing the World Cup in my backyard, I would draw the shade.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm not a big soccer fan.
It's the most exciting event in the world.
And I just can't get into it. And to me, and Hunter's probably the same way because we've talked about this before, where I don't understand a sport where you can play 90 minutes and nothing happened.
See, I don't understand that either. Do you still feel that way about soccer?
After watching, in all honesty, I have not watched an Atlanta United game until the championship game.
Wow. See, I can watch. I've gotten to the point now, and this is going to be sad probably to a lot of you. But I can watch a game now. I'm going to use the terminology that ticks off so many American sports fans. That could be 0-0.
0-0.
How many people hear that?
I love that. I love 0-0.
How many people hear that and go, they can't even talk right?
They talk funny. Well, and that's one of the things is,
But I was saying, I can watch a 0-0 game and find something exciting in it.
And I can understand that now after watching the championship because I did not take my TV off my eyes. Or my eyes off my TV.
That's a sign of commitment.
And I was committed to this. I really wanted to see why 73,000 people were going to show up to the Dome to watch this. And I didn't know because I'm in the Falcons are done. The Braves season's over. We're waiting for next season. The Atlanta Gladiators right now aren't playing well. All right. So
Yeah,
all
right.
of our sports teams.
I forgot they still existed, to be honest with you.
The Hawks are just going for good draft picks at the end of the year. They're rebuilding. So I'm thinking maybe they're just looking for something. But in all honesty, I watched that game and I really did like it. And I was afraid for a while there that it was going to be one of those where I had to sit and listen to some Englishman tell me this was the most wonderful 0-0 game I've ever seen in my life.
And you got to hear a coach afterwards after a match like that. By the way, it's a match, not a game.
It's a match. Yeah, and I started to learn about the pitch.
Right,
That
and
it's
the kit,
a match.
and the kit,
And
not the jersey, but the kit.
the kit. Yeah. And you look, hockey has sweaters, soccer has kits, and everybody else has jerseys, and I'm cool with that.
What's great though is you have some English manager afterwards who's going, well, you know, the lads did a great job in training coming up today. They deserved a better result. I thought we did a great job in the run of play, and I think the lads deserved a better result. No,
And I love that you got the English teeth.
well, I'm committed to the project. I'm a
You
method
really are.
actor.
It's it's a beautiful thing. But we are going to talk. We are going to talk Falcons. We are going to talk soccer. We're going to talk about the Braves. We're going to talk about the Hawks. And we're going to talk about the Atlanta Gladiators and any other sport you want to talk to. You can call us at any time live right now, 404-424-9119. That's 404-424-9119. We'll get you on the air. You can talk with us about that. We're going to talk about the Falcons. They're at home this weekend against Arizona. I want to know personally, does anybody care anymore? Does anybody even want to go to these
No,
games?
if there's a Falcons game and nobody's there to watch it, does it make a sound? Because I couldn't bear to watch the Falcons last week. A lot of times I have some work I got to do on Sundays. So I watch as much as I can, and then I'll DVR it and go back and speed watch, which is always a lot of fun to speed watch and get rid of a lot of the game quick.
Yeah.
And then it allows me to go back and rewatch the game and really get into the nuances of what happened during the course of the game. I don't give a rat's ass.
No.
Right now.
And I don't
just
think any
care.
of the fans do. And Hunter Williams is a huge fan. I want to introduce Hunter Williams. Hunter, say hello. Hunter, are you going to watch this game? Okay, so we need to lose so that we get a better draft pick.
Now, here's the thing, though. Because the Falcons are so bad, there is fantasy value.
Yeah.
Because I actually went and reacquired Ito Smith and put him in as running back because they're playing Arizona. I think he's going to have a field day against Arizona. And the Falcons are going to open up the offense a little bit because they're pissed off.
Yeah, and this is one of those questions because we know that Julio's not feeling well. We knew he was out today with flu-like symptoms. Okay, we know that he has feet problem.
Yep.
Okay, and is this a time of the year where you decide you just paid Matt Ryan a ton of money to be your quarterback for a while? Do you shut down Matt Ryan? Do you shut down Julio Jones? Do you just kind of sit back? You're not going to do anything. You're not getting to the playoffs. There is no reason for you to win any of these games. Why not shut them down?
I mean, some people would say that's tanking. I call it protecting your investment. But what the problem you have with that, think about the teams that will be involved in playoff runs here at the end of the season. Now, they're the ones who are going to raise holy hell. And you know what? That's legitimate. I would be, if the Falcons were having to fight for a playoff berth to try and ease in maybe into a wild card position or something,
yeah,
and they come up against a team that say they're resting their number one, I'd be pretty upset about it. And it's probably not a good optic thing for the league either.
No, and it's probably not. But you do have to, this sport, there's one goal at the end of the season, and that's to raise the Lombardi Trophy.
Sure.
And if you're not going to do it, mail it in so that next year you can.
Hey, if I had my druthers, for instance, I'm a Hawks fan, even though I can't bear to watch the Hawks too much. That can be a lot of fun to watch, though, because of the kind of team they're building. Now, but I love the fact that we're going to have another great draft pick next year. So I have no problem. If you want to call it tanking, you can call it whatever you want to. But tanking seems to infer that you're doing something dishonorable. And the way the NBA salary cap is set up, it's almost like you have to do this at some point, or else you're going to be mired in a mid-round pick for the rest of your existence.
Yeah.
So, and you know, things being what they are, I have no problem with it.
And I think naysayers will say that even with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and everybody else that's in there, Calvin Ridley, Ito Smith, Tevin Coleman, they're not tanking it. They're just that bad
they
right
suck.
now.
They just suck.
Did you see this at the beginning of the season? Did anybody see the Falcons only having 4 wins at this point in the season? Yeah. I realize that our YouTube people cannot hear a word that Hunter's saying because it's not coming through the mic in the other studio.
Oh, really? We can't?
No, they can't hear a word. No, all they see is us just sitting here looking at them.
Oh, but that's even better.
Yeah, that's fine.
But here's why we do this way.
But Hunter brought up a great point, so I will tell everybody that.
Which will be edited out.
I wasn't listening.
Unfortunately, we will have this fixed for next week.
We will have this fixed for next week.
If you're watching this tonight and Hunter does opine again, the reason we're doing that is so you can actually, this is like mental theater, visual theater. You can like insert your own content in there.
Yeah, absolutely. You come up with what Hunter just said,
and then tape it and send it to us.
Or just call in.
And we'll find a way to incorporate it into a future broadcast, I guarantee it.
Yeah, and also if you do call in, all right, we will have a podcast going out on this, so you will hear yourself on the podcast. You won't hear yourself on the YouTube channel yet. We're working on that as well. But I do want to say this, okay? Here's the reason that I think that Matt Ryan might need to sit down for a little bit. He has been sacked over 48 times already, right?
He's been taking a beating.
Well, I think he's been sacked 36 times going into this game, but he's on pace for a career high of being sacked 48 times.
Now, and I understand that actually the rate of he's been hit after throw several times, which you still can do apparently in the NFL.
Barely,
although they call it very tight. But it's actually gotten better because I think he was being hit like every 4th throwing attempt, and now it's like every 8th. Still, it's just a miserable ratio. He's taking a beating.
Yeah, and the whole system is falling apart for them because the defense is just decimated with injuries. We lost a lot on defense. And that being said, you also lost Devontae Freeman, right. So that took away a run game, a run-pass option that you did have with him. And to be honest, Tevin Coleman, as good as he is not Devontae Freeman.
He's not, but and people, when Devontae went out last time, they seemed to think it wasn't that big a deal. And I might have been in that camp maybe for a game. Because the first game that he was gone, I took a look at the way the offense worked. They still were putting up yards, but you can see trouble on the horizon because one thing about Coleman's advantage is that he's a route runner. You can line him up in the slot and you can run routes with him, and he's good at that. But he's more of a downhill runner. He's not going to plant his foot, and he's not going to make cuts the way Devontae is. And that's a huge thing that the Falcons offense is missing right now, man.
Yeah, the league worst average of about 81.8 yards per game.
Yeah.
That's your running game, 81.8 yards per game.
Now, with what I just said, kind of brings up a point that I used to try and make when they were both healthy. How come we didn't see them both on the field at the same time more? I mean, because that always made sense to me. When you have a guy that you can trot in and keep your receivers fresh and give them a different look by bringing in a guy who's good in the slot, when you talk about Tevin Coleman, why didn't you see him lined up in the slot more with Devontae in the backfield?
And I think a lot of it was adjusting to a new offensive coordinator. I think there were a lot going on there, and I think that this season, actually, if Devontae Freeman was there, this is a guy who would have given you the option to be able to throw the ball more, to open up Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones. And to be honest, right now, Matt Ryan's not the problem. Julio Jones isn't the problem. Calvin Ridley is not the problem. The offensive line has a little bit of a problem.
They have a very big problem.
And the running backs are a problem.
Yeah.
And it's not just because of the offensive line. Devontae Freeman was able to move. He was able to get us some extra yards. He would average about 4 yards, 5 yards per carry.
He's more able to create than Tevin Coleman. Tevin Coleman, you make a hole for him, he's going to make hay for you, but he's not. He can't create the way Freeman can.
Yeah, and that takes away everything that the Falcons were built on. And it's hard for Sark. And I know a lot of people want to blame Sark, and I get that, but you can only work with what you have at this point.
Well, I do want to blame Sark a little bit. I'm still a little bit flummoxed by the play calling, but defensively, injuries, there have been plenty. There have been injuries aplenty this season. Why did I just go into some weird 1880s Christmas voice?
I don't know. I like
because it's Christmas.
It is Christmas. See, I wish we had the full production studio so we could do Christmas music.
I did that because it's Christmas.
A little elf sounds, little jingle bells here and there.
But with the injuries that have been sustained on defense, you still have a guy that comes in with a reputation of being a hardcore defensive coach. Mm-hmm. And then we see guys who next man up and get plugged into situations. They don't know their assignments.
No.
It's not just a talent drop-off thing. For instance, a couple of games ago, I forget who was, but we had two guys in the middle of the field, the safety looks, and then you have a running back coming out of the backfield. Both of them get sucked away into the wings by the receivers, and just completely leave the middle of the field open.
Yeah.
Both of them are gone. Both of them are just sprint out of the zone.
Yeah.
And so this is a very big coaching problem that we have, because those kind of mistakes are limited, are the exception rather than the rule. They seem to be happening every week and on a fairly constant basis.
Yeah, Dan Quinn was brought in here to get this defense working. Obviously, with the injuries, he's not able to do that. But one thing that I have learned is Trufant is one of the worst secondary players that you can have on your team.
Can we do it together? Overrated.
Overrated. We could do that for a while.
We could.
I like
Take
that.
up a lot of time on the show.
Yeah. So I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to hear from our fans. Again, give us a call. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I promise you that this is going to be more and more fun every single week. So definitely do that. But feel free to call in. Let us know. Do you even care about the Falcons anymore? I've heard a lot of talk, and even in the MLS Cup, the one thing that I heard that stuck out more than anything else to me was a commentator saying Atlanta is the worst sports town. I'll tell you what, though, I did look up numbers.
They said that during the MLS Cup?
They said it during the MLS Cup.
The game?
The game,
I
they
don't
said.
remember him saying that.
Atlanta is one of. This is amazing that they are able to get 73,019 people in Atlanta because Atlanta is a horrible sports town.
See, that's a lazy kind of narrative to go with.
And it is lazy, and I actually have numbers that prove that we are not the worst.
Not even close.
Sports town. There are plenty NBA teams, NFL teams, MLB teams across the nation, including Detroit and California, that don't even come close to the amount of attendance that we put in the Braves, the Falcons, and even the Hawks.
At bad sports towns, you ever been to Dubuque, Iowa? Try that for a change. See what happens when you go there. Elephants Butte, New Mexico. Terrible sports town.
Horrible.
Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. You'll never want to watch sports again.
They do though. They do have a good high school football team.
Fond du Lac?
Call us 404-424-9119. Fond du Lac.
The Fond du Lac Fighting Blast Furnaces. I don't know what they're called.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, we'll go with it. That should be an Arizona team. The Elephants Butte Fighting Blast Furnaces.
All right, let's talk about a few other things here. We're also going to get into the College Football Committee. They stated that the criteria for the top 4 teams is this. We'll tell you about that coming up. Also, I want to talk about some controversy, some conspiracies.
Let's make some controversy.
We are making controversy.
Excellent.
Right now, we're doing a show, and it's going to be controversial.
It is.
I'm going to be honest. We're going to say some things that some people will get offended by. We're sorry. We're joking. We like to have fun.
There's going to be some structured comedy involved in this show as well, and some of the stuff that we came up with today is going to cause problems.
It's going to be brilliant, but it is going to cause some problems. Some people will get upset, but let's just go ahead and preface this now. We love everyone.
Yes, and let's also make this clear going forward on this program. We don't like this whole political correctness movement. I understand, your thoughts and intentions have to be in the right place. But when you're doing comedy, man, screw it. If people want to get offended, we don't care.
Obviously, we're talking, and one of the big things that happened this week was Kevin Hart was removed himself from the Oscars because of some comments he made about the LGBTQ community. And even though it's so hard to say because to me he's a comedian and he's trying to be funny and it was
first of all, what he said was how many years ago?
2014-15.
2014. Okay, I thought it was further back than that. Still, it's a couple of years.
It might
ago.
have been.
Okay,
but I'm pretty sure it was 2014-15.
Even so, it's What are we going to do? Everything now that we do on social media, there are actually people who are hired at media outlets. TMZ is big for this. I think they have a whole staff of people whose job is to go back on people's social media and dig up stuff like this.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell? And then you have, who was the guy who was like a teenager and the Braves guy?
Which guy?
No, not the Braves. The guy was a teenager baseball player. I'm now having a brain cramp because of all the Jaeger I had in the 80s.
I forgot too. Yeah, but he was one of them too. He's 17 years old. He put out some tweets.
He said some racist stuff back in the day. You don't want to be going around saying racist stuff.
Well, he had quoted rap lyrics.
Right. But it was.
And then we also heard about Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar was one who this week had a white woman come up on stage, sing the lyrics to his song, and he yelled at her for saying the N-word.
Right. Told her she had to edit it as she was singing. She had to bleep it out.
bleep your own words.
No. He actually said this. I shit you not.
That edit yours. I don't even know what to say to this anymore. I don't know what to say to this anymore.
That's why we're just gonna do the humor, and of course, if you watch in the future and you get offended, you have every right to be offended, and you have every right to tune out. You have every right to like send us something, ask you for an apology. You won't get it. You're not going to get it, but you have every right to do so.
You do have every right. And there's certain things that have been said, and I understand it, but I just feel like with this Baby It's Cold Outside song, Dean Martin, who wrote this song in the 40s,
right,
had a totally different time, totally different world. The fact that people are going to call radio stations and ask for that song to be removed is absolutely ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. You got to remember, that was the golden age of spiking drinks.
Absolutely.
And you have to let bygones be bygones. Terrible things happened in the 30s and 40s. Look at the fashion.
Look at Mad Men, the TV show.
Yeah, I love that show.
That is exactly what the 50s were. My grandfather used to come home. He used to sit down. He would wait for Grandma to bring him a drink. That's right. Just the way it was.
Pipe and slippers?
Pipe, slippers, newspaper, and...
Nowadays, the pipe is a one-hitter.
Whiskey with...
But still, it's like the same kind of thing.
Bring me my one-hitter, girl.
And my Henny.
And my Henny.
Then it was a pipe and maybe a highball.
Yep.
Now it's a one-hitter and Henny.
Hey. We will not be doing that here on the YouTube channel.
Don't
we will
say
get
that.
blocked as soon as... Okay, I
Don't say that.
You never know.
You don't know what's in the douche flute.
The vaping. The vaping thing is a fantastic thing. I do want to talk about some conspiracies. We heard earlier this week that we have not landed on the moon. Steph Curry apparently said he was joking now that he's gotten a lot of feedback about that we have. Do you believe that we've landed on the moon? Well, there are a lot of people who don't believe we've landed on the moon.
There's a layer of stuff around the Earth. There's I don't know that they could ever punch through with a rocket ship. There's a lot of astrological debris. And I think they might be full of it.
You think they're full of it?
I'm a conspiracy guy.
Yeah.
There is no conspiracy that is too small or too large for me.
I mean, I love conspiracies. I love thinking them through. I love the way people actually come up with them. My fiance is the queen of conspiracies.
Now, this is true. This is the stuff she really believes.
This is stuff that I truly believe that she believes. Okay, and one of the conspiracies, and I won't get into it because I want to save this for another time because I really want to interview her more.
You want to expand on this?
I do want to expand on this. I want to learn more about this. Okay, one of her conspiracies is about reptilian leaders, the leaders of our country. So we'll talk. That one is
real.
How do you know?
I can see, man.
Well, part of it is
I pay attention,
and we'll tie this in with the moon thing. Part of this is that she believes that maybe somebody has a bunker on the moon and is controlling the entire Earth with their reptilian leaders that are leading all of our countries. But that's not even the worst one that I have heard from her.
You say worst one, I might use the word best.
That is not the best one that I have heard from her. The one she's come up with, this theory takes the cake. It's something that I've never heard before, and I am excited to share this with you. I actually want to role play this with you.
New conspiracy, yeah. I'm for that.
All right.
Okay, so
let me set the picture.
Okay.
All right. We had a few drinks, chilling out, relaxing, tough week.
Syllabus. I'll do some warm-ups.
You're gonna be Mia.
Syllabus. How not?
No. I'm going to be Mia.
You're going to be Mia.
I'm going to be Mia.
Okay.
You're going to be me.
I'm going to be you. Okay, let me get bold.
We're laying in our bed. There we go.
Okay.
We're laying in bed together, holding each other. I may be a little tipsy.
Okay.
Hey, so I have to talk to you about something. I saw this on Facebook earlier, and I'm just calling, and I'm calling this out because I don't believe this. And I believe this is a serious conspiracy.
Oh, Jesus.
Have you ever seen the videos of the people with no arms and no legs in a wheelchair, and they paint with their mouth?
I think so. I think I've seen that on TV.
On the Facebook?
On the Facebook,
Well, on the
YouTube.
Facebook. So how come on the Facebook, whenever they cut to the picture, it's already completed?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm saying that I don't think they did that picture.
You've been drinking, haven't you?
Just a little bit. 2 beers.
You've had more than 2 beers.
2 beers.
Okay.
Just 2 beers.
Right.
I just...
But finish with your Daniel Day-Lewis thing. Go ahead.
So, I don't believe that they actually paint that. I think that they're not real artists. I think someone else does it. There's no way someone with no arms and no legs and has a paintbrush in their mouth.
But they show it on the camera. They
No,
show 'em.
all they show is them flipping it around, hitting the canvas, and the color's already there. How do I know that there's nothing on it?
By the way, I just want to stop for a second. It's like we're doing acting class. I just want to make a comment on this.
Go ahead.
What he's doing. I love your acting there, where you just kind of you just see the brush. That's very nice. Anyway, okay, and continue the scene. There we go.
And see. No,
Oh,
wait,
and-
not end scene. No,
and
it's
scene?
not over.
Okay, well I didn't think so.
It's not over.
Keep going.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Yes.
If they have no arms, no legs, how did they get the paint out of the tube?
Maybe they have someone who does that for them.
Then they actually didn't do the art, did they, by themselves?
Well, you can like pump gas in my car, and then I can still drive it. Because you put gas in my car doesn't prove that I didn't drive my car.
But you didn't do it all. You're not totally driving because you didn't put the gas in.
What if I live in New Jersey?
How do we know it's not paint by number?
This is actually...
This is word for word. These are her responses to me.
This is word for word.
This is word for word.
How am I doing with your responses? Am I getting anywhere close on any of them?
No.
I'm sure you didn't do the Jersey thing.
What I did was repeat back to her the way she was talking to me.
Okay.
And she still was like, stop, don't tease me. Don't tease me. It's...
You do know at some point she's going to be viewing this.
Oh, she's viewing it right now.
Right.
She could call in 404-424-9119.
You know she's going to beat the living hell out of you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's part of the fun.
You're like
Listen,
me. I pay extra for that kind of thing.
I'll be honest. We have a great relationship. We're able to tease each other all the time and have fun about it. We laughed about this for hours because I think she realizes at one point what she's saying is ridiculous, but she won't give up. She's stubborn. She's stubborn. I'm stubborn. We're both stubborn. She won't give up. But I was sitting there going, hold on.
Yeah,
Are you serious right now?
First of all,
This is what you pick out of all the conspiracies that you've come up with. You think that all these people without arms and legs and a toothbrush and a paintbrush in their mouth are faking doing these pictures?
I can appreciate the fact that if this is true, that she realizes how it sounds and she doubles down. Nobody appreciates that more than I do.
No.
I think it's fantastic.
I think it's a great... I love it. I love that theory. I love her theory of...
So they put the paintbrush in their butt, and the next thing to know, they painted a picture of Clifford the dog.
I mean, I've seen an elephant paint.
But you never see him finish the picture of Clifford the dog, do you? You just see him maybe draw the snout.
How do you know that he just didn't take a black and white cartoon book and it was already drawn out and all he did was put the color on it over it?
I don't know why that excites me so much, but I guess,
It's one of the conspiracies that I think we need to solve. We'll figure it out.
I think that at some point, we need to have her on this broadcast so that she can flesh it. Because, as I'm sure you think you're remembering it word for word, but she's right now viewing this going, he's leaving out so much.
There's so much he's leaving out.
He's making me sound crazy, and he's leaving out the vital parts.
I mean, I could be leaving out the vital parts, but the vital part to me was at all the conspiracies that she came up with, the fact that she did not believe that somebody was painting a picture that beautiful with their mouth and she thought there's no possible way because there's no way they could get the paint out of the tube.
But Werner von Braun was able to get the materials up and build a bunker on the other side of the moon.
That is one of our other theories that we're going to get into,
Okay.
that maybe Adolf Hitler has a bunker on the other side of the moon.
Can't rule it out.
Who's a reptilian.
Cannot rule that out.
You cannot rule it out. They've never found his body, have they?
Yeah, that's true. And they've never disproved the reptilian thing. I'm just saying.
Yep. Also, I want to talk about another thing that I found out today about myself.
Oh, you got those test results back?
I can't share those.
Okay, that's all right.
I wasn't going there right
I
now.
thought you were looking a little down in the mouth there, Rhino.
Excuse me. I was thinking today about Bluetooth and how fantastic the invention of Bluetooth is.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. I realized this morning that when I was driving in the car, and I literally was talking to myself, thinking this whole actual, like, this is gonna loop. This is like putting a camera on a camera on a camera. I was trying to discuss how I would talk about the Bluetooth technology to both Hunter and AJ
Right.
tonight. And I was doing your voices back to me, talking back to myself, coming up with your answers on this. And I was thinking to myself, this is the most fantastic technology, because as I looked to my left, I saw a girl sitting in her car, and she just kind of turned. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it on the camera.
Yeah, do it on the camera.
Okay, no real reaction, just like, okay, because you know that when you're in a car and you're sitting there and you can just feel someone looking at you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh my God, I know they're looking at me, and I just got that booger out of my nose, and I got it in my fingers, and I'm rolling it around, and I was going to put it in my mouth, but now I can't because I know they're looking at me.
Right.
You know that.
I do. I absolutely know that.
But then you wait until you get right in between the two cars,
Or if you've adjusted,
and then you either flick it out your window or you put it in your mouth. You're one of two people.
or if you've had to really go in fangs out to adjust your underwear.
Yeah. So I felt
And
her
then
looking at me.
And you don't want to keep you don't know who's got to keep your hand away.
But I looked over, and there was no look of disgust, that I was literally just talking to myself in the car, and I realized she thinks I'm on my Bluetooth phone.
Yeah, she doesn't. She has no idea.
She has no idea that I'm actually sitting here like a psycho doing three people's voices in my car talking about Bluetooth technology and how great it is. And I literally sat there and was going, oh my God, I can't wait to talk to AJ. And AJ, think about this. Bluetooth technology is the greatest invention, because not only in your car, yes, that was you.
Yeah.
I would do your voice back.
Yes, yeah.
You know, and I just kept going, and I was like, and I looked over and I was like, she has no idea. She just thinks I'm talking to some worker.
Yeah.
I could literally now be looking at her going, I'm going to steal her car.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal her car one day. I like that car. I'm going to follow her and steal her car.
And then I'm gonna steal it from her man.
And she would just look at me like, shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he must be talking to one of his friends.
Yeah.
And I might be.
Think about it. I mean, conversely, it used to be you'd go down the street and you see somebody like walking down the street talking to themselves, you could just automatically say, "Hey, crazy homeless person."
Yeah, in the old days, if someone was walking down the street, you're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to cross the street and not walk down the same street as that person.
And unless it's a relative,
Unless it's a relative.
Yeah.
And then you just know they're crazy.
and you don't give them money.
But no.
Because they're a relative, you know how they are with money.
Yeah, you know.
Because they're on the street. Yeah.
Yep. And now you just go, oh, they have an earpiece in.
Yeah. And then you know, a lot of times I suppose they don't.
I suppose they don't. A lot of them don't. I mean, you can kind of tell now by the long beards and the dirtiness of themselves.
Like I said, man, again, we're going back to like a family reunion for me.
But I don't know with this
looks-
whole hipster movement now. I don't know who's homeless and who's not anymore. So
See, I don't want to.
oh, hey, turn down your.
Okay.
We need you to go ahead and turn down your YouTube.
Yeah, turn down
I
the
know who
YouTube.
this is.
Yeah, I know who it is.
You know who this is as well.
I have no doubt.
Let's
who it
welcome
is.
Mia to the show, and I know you can't hear her on YouTube, but go ahead, Mia. Hi.
I think this is a technological nightmare.
Hello.
Because she's still hearing what's going on the.
Hello.
I think she's behind it. I don't think that worked out too well.
All right. Well, she got cut off. She was listening to
But
her.
it was
I think
very
she was
good
listening to
while
her
it lasted,
computer.
yeah.
So, but hopefully that's not everybody. If you do call in, just turn off your computer if you were watching live on us. Please.
Do you think that's what you think she wasn't listening through the phone earpiece?
I don't know. Either that or she is extremely upset right now. I'm surprised my phone's not going crazy and she's not texting, yelling at me about telling about the conspiracy theories.
Yeah, because this is the high-tech nature of this broadcast. We're actually using this camera for this camera shot. His phone camera.
We're using my phone.
But you have the pop-up feature on your homepage, which means if she does text in right now, the first one who's going to see it, Uncle AJ.
That's right.
Right there.
Send nudes. 404-424-9119. If you want to call up, you want to get involved with us, 404-424-9119. We're talking about silliness. We're talking about fun. We're talking about crazy ideas that we've come up with, but we're also talking some sports. We talked about the Falcons. I'd like to hear from you again. Are you going to go to the game? Do you care about watching the Falcons? Do you think that the Falcons and Dan Quinn should shut down Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and let some of the younger guys? Now, the problem is our backup quarterback. We have Matt Schaub. He's sitting back. He's waiting. He's serviceable, though. He's someone we can use.
You could do a lot worse as far as backup quarterbacks go.
Yeah,
A
absolutely.
guy who has had some success at the QB1 level here in the league. And we've seen him have some pretty decent snaps for the Falcons. The problem is you're not getting. You would feel better about a guy like Matt Schaub if you were getting the kind of production out of your hot pieces that you mean. I mean, Julio Jones, even when he's been healthy, hasn't been great at holding on to the football, man.
No, he hasn't.
For a superstar in the league, has it? No. He's put up some big numbers. We've seen that, but still, the numbers can lie sometimes. He's had a little problem hauling it in.
Yeah. Well, and part of that is that's a guy who demands coverage. You're gonna get double teamed, which now all of a sudden you've seen, because you remember last year we were talking and we were saying that we got Mia back on the line. All right, we'll get her punched up. Mia, keep your computer off, keep the sound off, be in a separate room. Oh, we are getting some feedback again. Put her on hold real quick. Just hit that square box on there. All right. We'll have to check that out. I don't know what's going on with the phone, so we'll have to figure out what's going on with the phone.
Hunter's now, this is his first kind of foray into the whole broadcasting thing, right?
Yeah, I don't know if she has the computer up in the background. I do hear a delay, so I'm wondering if that's part of the thing. Ask her on the phone. Does she have the computer up, the volume up on it?
Yeah. Okay.
Of course.
Well, this is great that he's going through this, because this is kind of a run through show.
This is exactly why we're doing the show.
So we're doing the show to work out these kind of bugs and for you to figure out what a miserable, stupid bunch of pricks we are. But it's good that Hunter is dealing with this kind of producer angst, that comes from something going wrong during a show, because it's going to happen on a fairly regular basis.
It is going to happen. Listen, we're silly guys. We have a lot of fun. We're going to talk. We're going to be entertaining. We're going to do a lot of things. We're going to have a lot of funny skits. We're going to have a lot of funny things. And we're going to just talk. Tonight, we're going to iron out. We're going to get...
and there's going to be technical glitches.
There's going to be tons of technical glitches.
That's
until
where
we
the fun
figure this
comes
out. This is the first night being up in the studios, making sure the internet worked with everything together. So, we're doing our best here. But hopefully...
He's going to try it again. All right.
We're going to try this again.
All right. Let's see if I...
And the best part is none of you can hear this.
Now, here's the thing.
Only we can hear this.
She keeps calling back.
Okay.
So she's good and steam.
She's upset about something.
Yes.
All right. There we go. I don't hear the feedback. Hello.
Hello there.
Mia. Hello.
Is this a Siberian hang-up? It's very subtle.
Hello.
Okay, we tried.
All right. You know what? I give up. We did this before, and it worked. We had Hunter test the phones, make sure they worked. They worked great. Now they're not working. But I'll tell you what she said. She's. I better not do that. I'll get even more. I love you, and you're so funny, and you look so sexy on YouTube.
I know. I think more along the lines of what she said was that prenup we signed. I don't ever stand up in court.
Yeah. Nope.
Not after what you've said tonight.
She's going to be making all the money now too.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do. I also want to talk, besides the Falcons.
Your life isn't worth a plug nickel.
Oh, God, it's so horrible right now. Yesterday I got to that point, and we've all been to that point where I literally looked in my bank account and I was like, I have exactly enough gas to get home, but I don't have enough to buy any more gas to get somewhere tomorrow.
Bless your heart, man.
Yeah.
We got to get your restaurant up. This man runs a restaurant and burned up.
Yeah, Lapardo's New York Pizza.
Yeah.
In Kennesaw. We're working on it. We're rebuilding now, so hopefully that'll be back.
Insurance never.
No, you know what? Insurance.
They never pieced that together.
They're working on it. Insurance took care of us. They did what they were supposed to do. We paid them a lot of money. We're not getting back as much as we put in, but
imagine that.
But they are taking care of that. So the restaurant will be open again. Hopefully by New Year's, we'll have a big New Year's party. So that'll be good.
You said you had some idea for me involving your restaurant, but we never talked about that. Maybe that's something we can save for.
Yeah, we're going to save that because I think we have to work that out still.
Okay.
But I know that there's plenty of things that we can do. Listen,
does it have to do?
We can do trivia nights. We can do comedy nights. We could do
open mic. Yeah.
Open mic night.
Because I'm starting to stand-up comedy thing. And if there is anybody listening right now, they're like, really?
Go ahead, funny man. Say something funny.
Good luck with that, Howie Mandel.
That's the best part is when people
go with prop comedy.
When you tell people like, hey, I want to do stand-up. Well, go ahead, say something funny.
Yeah, do something funny. Yeah.
Do something funny.
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
Do a routine.
Say something funny. It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't. It's just like when I do my telepathy. When I do telepathy,
yeah,
I can't just always do that on demand.
So wait, you can read my mind.
I can sometimes. I will be near somebody. I'm an empath, and I'm also telepathic, and I'm psychotic.
Oh,
and sometimes when I'm just near people, I will all of a sudden know what they're thinking. Yeah.
Can you do it now?
I'm not. I'm just something fuzzy from you right now. Hang on, I have to touch your head. Let's see. Okay, there you go. You're thinking this feels awkwardly sexy.
Mm-hmm.
What is KY his and hers? I'm getting that. I'm getting like his and hers warming lube. What is that? Is that ringing a bell with you?
That's our new sponsor, Gun Oil.
There it is.
Gun Oil for both men and women, available now in all Starship stores. Is Starship still around?
Just a way of bringing in a new sponsor on the show. We actually rehearsed that.
We actually didn't, which is, see, we are funny. We're also talking about, we're talking all sports. We're talking Falcons. I do want to talk about this college football playoff. And today we heard that people are looking to expand this to 8 playoff teams. And I'm kind of torn now. I'm kind of torn whether we should go to 8. I was perfectly happy with the 4 for a while until the last 2 seasons. I kind of was like, this isn't working the way it was supposed to work. Yeah. And this season especially, it did not work at all. The College Football Committee has stated that the criteria for the top 4 teams is this, and this comes from the initial release of what the College Football Playoff was to become back in 2012. The best 4 teams. The selection, and I'm going to read this, okay? The selection committee will choose the 4 teams based on body of work, strength of schedule, head-to-head results, comparison of results against common opponents, championships won, and other factors. Now, we don't know what the other factors are, but then it goes on to say, a team's strength of schedule is one of the most pertinent considerations for the committee making its selection.
And without getting too much in some of the changes that were made over the courses of the past few seasons, because there have been little tweaks every single year after we had the Final Four. They basically just kind of made it more, in effect, they've made the eye test more of a factor in this, is basically what they've done. They still factor in the other stuff, but the eye test is coming in. So they really, now, coming in out of last year, they said they wanted to just get the 4 best teams.
Yeah.
Regardless of what was going on with all those numbers that are taken into account, it can be overridden by the committee members just saying, regardless of all that, here's the 4 teams we think are the best. Now, it seems like they're going to change it again for next season. And when they first started this, I thought that 8 was probably the better number.
I thought so too.
Yeah, I always thought. Now here's the problem though. You have people who are out there saying we want 8 teams so that we can get our teams in that were left out of the 4. We're not in one of the Power 5 conferences. Maybe we can be involved in the mix if we have a more fair field of 8. Okay, well let's consider this too. If you have a field of 8, better look at another 1 or 2 SEC teams additionally getting into the playoff.
Yeah.
So if you think you're mad at the SEC now, let's wait until your team is left out of the 8, because obviously We're going to have a lot of years where 3 of the best 4 teams in the 8 are going to be from the SEC. It's not going to help you.
No, and I think it's gonna. I think more people are gonna be upset about it. But the way I looked at it, and what I saw today was that, you're gonna have an at-large bitch, an at-large.
At-large, you're going to have an at-large bitch.
An at-large bitch. I'm not going to comment on that because I do know Mia is listening and watching now too.
I was hoping you wouldn't go there.
She would make. Yeah.
Well, by the way, you do own a cot.
I do.
Okay,
I own a couch.
Okay, excellent.
A couch and a futon that I may be able to sleep on at the end of the
night. She
night.
might not let you have the couch.
No, it's her couch.
No, that might not
Which,
be.
thanks to the children, does have hidden Sour Patch Kids inside of it that I can find for a midnight
At least,
snack.
yeah, you always got a snack.
Always have a snack. But one of the things that the at-large bid would have done. Did I say it again?
The at-large bitch. You keep saying that. This is
Is this Freudian?
This is absolutely Freudian.
I do like larger women sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't like skinny girls.
Who does?
No.
You break them in half, man.
Just, they're horrible. They're too skinny.
You want to break them down like a shotgun. You don't want to break them in a half.
Now, I do tell Mia all the time, I have a limit. She can get up to 499 pounds.
Yeah, you don't want to go too far with it. Like I went out with one that I was with on a long-term relationship, and I don't mean this in a cruel way, but it reached a point where she had so much cottage cheese, I would put down like lettuce and pineapple in the bed before we went to bed every night. So.
Why does lettuce and pineapple go with cottage cheese?
I don't know, but
it's so delicious.
You're getting the visual.
I don't like pineapple though. Hunter knows I hate pineapple. When people come into the pizza place and say pineapple, we can't say what I'd normally say.
People that eat pineapple on pizza, I actually have a moral compunction with them right away.
There's something wrong with it.
I think there's something seriously wrong with. I don't know, Hunter. We can't hear you, but you have pineapple.
We can hear you on the podcast. Though,
yeah, we can hear you.
Hunter says there's a special place in hell.
Yeah.
And I agree. I get so upset. Now, and this is, like in Brazil, they like peach and ketchup and mayo on their pizza.
That's okay if they're doing it
mango.
If that's what they do in their homeland.
Don't come into a New York place and ask for pineapple or peach or mangoes.
Yeah,
please.
That's not good.
It's disgusting. And this is part of our show, too. We are going to start talking college football playoffs and go in totally different directions. So just bear with us, stay with us, and enjoy it. 404-424-9119. You could call, join us live. But getting back to that. So one of the at-large bids,
I got it that time,
would have went to Georgia this year.
Right, sure would.
And it could have went to LSU this year, too. Right. If you're going to take the top 8 teams, where was LSU?
LSU is. Do you think they absolutely were a top 8
Absolutely
team?
not. I don't think they were a top 10 team.
I think so
Joe
either.
Burrows is a Trent Dilfer. Dilfer. It's Dilfer.
Yeah.
He's like the Trent Dilfer. Just don't make mistakes.
No,
I was going a little bit above.
Field general, just a manager. Field manager.
Nil. But he was a field manager.
Right.
Exactly. That's all he was supposed to do. Just don't make mistakes.
Right.
Just don't cost us a game.
How many championships has Alabama won with that kind of quarterback? That's okay. I mean, you can have that.
They've done it.
Right.
They've done it. This year they happen to have a real quarterback. Right. A quarterback that can. I think they have 2. I still think Jalen was good enough to
obviously.
Yeah.
I mean,
Georgia fans know that.
Out, yeah.
Georgia fans know that. But yeah, Alabama is a totally different team. They're going to be in. I think they've been in the first 5. I think they might be in the next 5. And if we expand to 8, I can almost guarantee, and I would be willing to go to Vegas and put money on the fact that Alabama, as long as, and here's where I need to make sure, if Nick Saban is the coach of Alabama for the next 5 years, they're in the playoff for the next 5 years.
Absolutely. In fact, in the playoff the next 5 years, you might see Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, maybe Oklahoma could sneak in there, Nebraska, maybe they can then maybe number 6 or 7 will be Alabama's scout team.
Yeah.
So Alabama will actually turn up.
They'll have 2 teams.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah, like a junior varsity team too.
I had people at UCF going, well, I definitely think that maybe we should have gone in ahead of Alabama scout team this year. I realized they had a good season.
And they might lose to the scout team.
Yeah, by 50.
But UCF this season would be in the top 8, I think.
I realized their scout team came and played us on the road and put a 50 burger on us. But I really think that we should have slid in there with that late run we had.
And they would be in this case though if we did go to 8 teams. But this year, I know for a fact that they got this wrong. And here's where I want to go. Here's the strength of schedule for the top 6 teams in order. Actually, I only got 5 here.
God,
so the top 5 teams.
You're scaring the hell out of me. You did show prep.
I did do show prep. All right, here we go. Strength of schedule. Georgia, number 11. Strength of schedule in the country. That's the best strength of schedule. Now let's go back to what I said earlier because I know we got distracted. Okay. The committee said in their first piece of paperwork that they put out back in 2012, a team's strength of schedule is one of the most pertinent considerations for the committee in making its selections. So based on that, okay, give 1 point to Georgia, right?
Are we writing this down? Okay.
No.
Okay, I'm just going to keep it right here.
You go ahead. Okay, 1. All right. Alabama, number 17. Strength of schedule.
Okay.
Ohio State, number 55. Notre Dame, who's the number 3 seed.
Who's going to get just killed, in my opinion.
They're not. This reminds me of the year that they had Manti Te'o and his invisible girlfriend.
Right, and you had Georgia and Alabama playing to see who would get the honor of beating their team.
Right, and Notre Dame just got crushed.
Right.
Okay, they're going to get crushed again. Oklahoma, number 68. And Clemson was number 76. That was the one I'm forgetting. Clemson was number 76. So there's your 6. So Georgia wins the strength of schedule, right?
Was that 2 or are we still in that's still the 1?
That's still 1 point.
Okay.
Okay, now we'll go to championships 1.
Okay.
All right. Georgia didn't win.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's out. All right. Next category, all right, is head-to-head competition if it occurred. It didn't occur this time at all, so nobody gets the point there. All right.
Okay.
Now, here's who I think should have been left out was Notre Dame,
0 points.
right?
No, we still got the 1.
No, we still got 1 point.
Yeah.
Georgia still got 1.
Okay, still got the 1.
Still got 1.
Okay. I have a
All
North
right.
Carolina public school education. Help me out.
Notre Dame is the team that needs to be out, and I'm going to tell you why.
Oh, okay. You can now if you have reasons on paper, I can go ahead.
You're just going to respond to me. Comparative outcomes of common opponents. This is the fourth. I guess, factor.
Okay.
Is that a good word? 4th factor of why a team should be in. Okay. Notre Dame versus Vanderbilt. Okay. They played Vanderbilt as well. They won 22-17.
And that game was very much in doubt. That was not a garbage time score, by the way.
That game came down to a turnover with 1:07 left in the game.
Yes.
Okay, and Notre Dame ended up having to win. Vandy had over 420 yards in that game against them. Notre Dame only had 380.
Right.
All right. Georgia played Vanderbilt. Georgia won 41-13. Fromm threw for 3 touchdowns. Defense held Shermer to 169 yards. You're looking at 420 yards of total offense against Notre Dame, a common opponent.
Right.
So there is a bias.
And let's also look at the fact that a lot of those yards by Vanderbilt came when the game was already it was not in question anymore.
No.
It was garbage time.
Yeah. And that's, it was done. That game was over way before the end of the game.
And then Vanderbilt was not looking at starters when a lot of those yards went up.
No, the total offense for Georgia, 560 yards. 560 yards against Vanderbilt.
And they took their foot off the gas.
And they slowed down. And they took their foot off the gas. The other teams, Notre Dame, they also played Northwestern, and they barely won that game. It was 31-21. It was 24-21 with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in that game.
Do you know how many? I mean, I have to go back and watch these games again now because when you think about it, how many more yards and how many more points would Georgia have put up this year if in all of those games where they wore people down with their running game and just started beating them up for 5 and 6 yards of carry in the later part of the 3rd and 4th quarters? How many points could they have put up and how many yards could they have racked up if they just hadn't stepped off? And think about a game against Tech.
Yeah.
They could have hung up 70 on Georgia Tech.
Easy, and I'm surprised they didn't.
Yeah, and they I don't know why he was so charitable that day, but he was. Kirby Smart was. And that happened in a lot of games this year.
And it's one of those things where I still think it's a building process for Georgia, and I do still think that they are the 3rd best team in the country.
I do too, but here's the thing. I absolutely believe they're in the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my problem with it.
Okay.
I have no problem with them being left out when they had the title game in control and they let the lead slip away again.
I understand why they're not in.
But even losing that game, they probably get in. If I'm on the committee, they get in.
Absolutely.
Because they absolutely are one of the top 4 teams in the country. The problem goes back to LSU.
Absolutely. You got to win that game.
When you go on the road and you end up getting your ass handed to you, and I know why. LSU was not the better team that day. Georgia went in there. They have a lot of young players. Jake Fromm looked like he was shaking. Human being. He went into that atmosphere, and you could see that it affected him, and it affected a lot of players on the team.
Listen, that's a tough place to play. And if you're an SEC team, you know that playing in the SEC is a tough conference to play in, right?
And LSU at night is about as tough as it gets.
I don't want to play at LSU, Nate. And I want to say this because some people may not know this. I hate the Georgia Bulldogs. I am not a Georgia Bulldog fan. I am a Florida Gator.
I keep forgetting that.
Yeah. But I am adamant that they need to be in the playoff, that they are the third best team in the country. I mean, I watch football enough to know that this was the best team in the country. Well, the second, maybe even the second best team. I don't know because I can't take anything away from Clemson yet.
I really think Georgia's probably the second best team.
Yeah. I mean, they are the only team that stood with Alabama and led that game. They're the only team that led Alabama for as long as they did, and I think they led for what, 30 minutes? 119 minutes they've led in 2 games. 119 minutes in 2 games.
That's real impressive.
That's really impressive. No other team. Clemson, maybe. How many times have they played?
Hey, listen, I'm more impressed though if you attack a few more
3?
minutes on there.
This is their third.
Tack a few more on enough to win.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What did I say? Georgia? No, Alabama and Clemson have played they're playing for the third time. Okay, so those 2 teams, look, they've been in there. Clemson's been there 4 out of 5 years. Alabama's been in the playoffs since the playoff has been, 5 out of 5 times. Okay, so those 2 teams are probably going to get the 1 and 2 as long as they continue to win and they don't lose. But Georgia is definitely number 3 in my book.
And I agree. And here's the irony. Rhino has made it clear that he is not a Georgia fan. I am a rabid Georgia fan.
Yes,
and I still believe, based on the 2 losses, the slip up at LSU, they should have been left out. Even though I know, and this is going to sound weird, even though I know that they are one of the top 4 teams in the country.
And I get why they're being left out. I mean, I think there is a bias against the SEC. I definitely agree that.
See, this is unusual too. It's ironic. So you think there's a bias against the SEC?
Yes.
Okay, because so many people around the country want the 18 playoff because they feel like there's a bias for the SEC.
If there was a bias for the SEC, the third best team in the country would have been put in this year.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Okay. So there's only one reason they were kept out. People don't want to see Georgia and Alabama play in the SEC or in the championship again. And because they know that they're going to play in the championship again.
I'll make it more simple than that. I think they do believe that would have been the case. More than that, I think that the committee members didn't want to have to go in front of the media and defend having a 2-loss team in there, regardless of how good they are.
But Rob Mullins sounded absolutely ridiculous when he tried to explain why they left Georgia out. Because he said, the first thing he said is, we looked at strength of schedule.
Right.
We looked,
which by far favored UGA.
Favored UGA. They had the best strength of schedule this season out of the top 6 teams. Then he said, we also looked head-to-head, which none of them played. Okay, fine. Then we looked at comparative outcomes.
There we go. Georgia comes out on the great end of that one.
And this is on. And then he said after they didn't win the conference. Okay, Notre Dame did not win their conference championship.
Well, don't have one. Yeah.
So then you can't use that. So that one gets thrown out the window. So Notre Dame should not be in this playoff.
He brought up a conference. He brought that up considering the fact that Notre Dame was.
It's based on championships won, right?
Yes.
What championship did Notre Dame win?
Now you're digging another hole. You're actually opening up a wound because I hate Notre Dame largely for this reason.
If there's any bias in this country towards any football team in this country, it's Notre Dame.
Easily.
You can't turn on NBC and not watch Notre Dame football every Saturday.
They have that contract with NBC, which is another. And I don't even mind. Hey, if you can go out there and get the money, you go get the money. But I wish they would just join a conference finally.
And that's where I think that this needs to go. Everybody should be in a conference. If you're not in a conference and you're not, then you're not going to play for a national championship.
Well, and then they made things to me worse because all of the other Notre Dame sports decided to go ahead and fall in with the ACC, except for football. Now, I hated them before because they wouldn't get involved with the conference. Then when they aligned with the conference and everything, but football, I hated them worse.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I've never been so upset about college football until this year.
Oh, let it out!
I'm letting it out. I'm so upset about this, and I'm not. I have sat here and literally spent hours looking through. I read the entire. They put it online. You can go to the collegefootballplayoff.com.
Yeah.
You can pull up the exact thing that they're given to every committee member to make their decision.
I hate them.
And I read it, and I got so upset, and I was like, I don't want to do this, but Georgia got screwed.
That must be hard for a Gator fan.
It is impossible for a Gator fan because, I'm sitting watching this game, okay? And again, Mia, if she could figure out how to turn off her computer and get on the phone, will tell you, last year, we watched the national championship together, and I was like, you know what? I'm really happy Georgia's about to win this national championship. It's 20-10. There's no way they can lose this game. Which she yelled, "Shut up, you're an idiot."
You never. If you're from Georgia, you never want to hear anything like that.
Oh man, I'm superstitious. I am a superstitious person. I wear the same underwear every day.
That explains a lot. Yeah.
I don't wear underwear.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing pants. It's a great part about this. We got a table right here.
I've noticed that too, and I would have that looked at.
But I'm a very superstitious person, so I'm surprised I even said that at that point in the game. But I was rooting for them. I wanted them to win the national championship. I have a lot of friends. I have you. I have Hunter. I have a lot of friends that are Georgia fans that I just kind of want to see them. Schmeck. I want to see him. Schmeckel.
Yeah, I haven't seen Schmeckel in forever. Schmeckel, where are you?
He's probably at a Trump rally.
There's no doubt about it.
If Schmeckel is one of our friends. He's been around for, God, I don't know. When we were back at 790.
Man, you're talking like right about early 90s.
Early 90s, easy, yeah. He's a pretty passionate. You know what? One of my first memories is we were down at in Jacksonville when he jumped in the river.
Oh yeah, that's right. Schmeckel did jump in the river.
Yeah,
we dared him, man. There'd been a lot of beer. There'd been a lot of alcohol consumed that day.
Let me explain what happened to me. Okay, you were already gone. Mike Bell and I were roommates. Okay, and I think it was the same weekend because you came up to our broadcast. We were broadcasting from Hooters, and you had come up, and we were hanging out.
Yeah.
We decided, Steak Shapiro said, let's go, go have fun, drink. We got a tab, whatever. We start drinking. Steak says, just stick with me. I'm going to take you, blah, blah, blah. Me, Mike, stick with him for a while. And you've seen the crowds down in Jacksonville.
Yeah, at least what they used to be. I think they're probably still the same.
They're probably still the same. I turn and look as I walk out into the landing, and I'm looking, and I'm like, where's Steak at? Mike, where's Steak? Mike? I lose Mike.
But then you found it because you heard him somewhere going, do you know who I am?
Steaks, do you know who I am? Behind a bar somewhere. Buy or sell. Buy or sell. So I'm looking for him. I'm drunk. Really drunk at this point.
Hammered.
I know that I'm staying at a Hampton Inn. I didn't know there are two Hampton Inns, 6 miles one way and 6 miles the other way.
Get him at Jacksonville Beach.
I decide to walk the 6 miles drunk to the wrong hotel. I go up the elevator that looked the same to me. I get up to my room.
That looked the same.
Start putting my key in.
Next thing you know.
Mike. No, Mike. Wrong color.
Yeah.
Wrong guy. Not really happy at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I can imagine he's not.
Nah. I don't know where I am at this point, but yeah, but that was that same weekend. Schmeckel was there, you were there, but Schmeckel, another one who, I want Georgia to win.
Yeah,
I want them to be a championship team. But at the same time, the Gator inside me kicks up, and at the end of that game, there was no better thing for a Gator fan to watch than Georgia just kind of self-implode like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course, you had to love that. It would be wrong for you being a Gator fan. Yeah.
And the SEC championship, same thing this year. I was rooting for them. I wanted them to beat Alabama because I knew the only way they were getting in. and I think everybody knew that at that point.
But you love the implosion.
I do love the implosion. But I wanted them to beat Alabama because I wanted the two of the best teams in the country in the playoff. I want to watch that game again.
Has it reached a point that you hate Alabama more than Georgia now?
Oh yeah, I think everybody hates Alabama more than Georgia.
That's the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in all
Excellence
honesty,
is rewarded that way.
I hate Tennessee more than I hate Georgia. And
Still?
Oh God, yes.
You don't have that I feel sorry thing for Tennessee right now?
No.
I have a little bit of that pity thing.
No,
working.
let me. I don't. I have a friend who has gout really bad, and he's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
We went to Tennessee. We went to the stadium to see our Gators play. He was in his wheelchair. We got special seating for him. He was wearing his Gators jersey, and he had beer poured on him by Vol fans the entire time.
Intentionally?
Intentionally.
Oh my
Intentionally.
God. That's kind of out of line with what I had a very good experience with Vols fans when I went there.
And I have a lot of friends that are Vol fans now.
Yeah.
Okay, and my friend Andrew, my friend Robbie, my friend Jeff, they're all they're all big Vol fans, and I love them, and I love them. But there are some Vol fans, just like look, there's Walmart fans, I guess they call them, or trailer fans in every SEC school, right?
Yeah. Well, the last time I went to Knoxville was actually when my version of Rocky Top was still popular.
Yeah.
And it wasn't very complimentary.
No.
but
we have to bring that back.
Yeah, Schmegel kept telling people we're in Knoxville, and first of all, a lot of them knew about it because now if I go and do a search for A.J. Cannon's Rocky Top, it comes up, and it's like Vols people have posted the lyrics on there, so apparently they took to this thing.
But I love that song. We're going to bring that back. We'll have to play that song.
It exists, but he kept telling people about it, and they were like, yeah, come on up and see. They had a live band that was playing Rocky Top live. He's like, hey, come up and play it.
How'd that go?
Actually, they just laughed, and I didn't have anybody try to accost me.
Yeah, and most of the fans, I'm sure, are okay. We just had a really bad experience.
It did happen.
But we've had.
What did happen was I ended up doing maybe a couple more shots than I needed to before the game.
Oh.
So we was with Schmeckel.
Yeah.
So we go walking. We're walking up the ramp to go to our seats, and then I guess it was just a funny turn. Rubbing is racing, I know, when you're trying to get into a stadium, but I face planted.
Oh no.
So they come and they get me, and I'm a little tore up. So I end up. Schmeckel goes, I'm going to the seats, and they take me down to this little medical area in the stadium. And they put an IV on me, put some put some fluids in me.
Yeah.
So I was down there for a while. I started feeling better, and I went back up. That was the game where Tennessee was about to score as they went to the half. It's going to put the game out of control. They fumbled on the 2-yard line.
Oh, God,
it gets picked up, and it's taken all the way back. And we were sitting in that end zone where it was run back.
Yeah.
And I've never seen 103,000 people with their mouths open at the same time like that, and it was glorious.
Ah, it's fantastic.
Glorious!
Oh, I love beating Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee is one of the places that and it's not their fans. I just hate the team.
The fans we ran to, like I said, were great.
Yeah, and like I said, I have a lot of friends. I go to Knoxville every year. I play a softball tournament there. In fact, one year I got a story about that, too, where I stole a forklift to go to the bars.
You've never dumped booze on a guy in a wheelchair? No. I just want to say, let you who was without sin, I cast a first stone. Add a guy in a wheelchair. No,
I have not thrown a beer
Good,
on, but I have put a stick in their spokes.
Okay.
He was moving too fast.
See, this is what I'm talking about. We really don't do that kind of thing, and take it easy.
He was moving way too fast. Yeah, I'm not a Georgia fan, but I will root for them, and I did want them in, and I do find it surprising. And I'm telling people that if they're upset because of the 14 playoff, they'd be more upset to see an 18 playoff, because I think you'd have at least 3, maybe even 4 SEC schools in that playoff.
Absolutely. Now this is going to be considered a down year, especially. Well, we've had a couple of down years because of the state of the SEC East.
Yeah.
Right. And even the West hasn't been as strong top to bottom.
No.
Let's give it a couple of years when things go back to normal.
Look,
you still want an 18 playoff? Okay.
LSU, they're coming up.
Yes.
They're going to be back.
Auburn's coming back.
Auburn's coming back. Okay. Florida's coming back.
Yes,
Tennessee, they're going to need another 2 years, but I'm telling you,
they're on the
Pruitt's going to get that team.
South Carolina's going to be somebody to tussle with.
Yeah, they're going to have to get rid. Texas A&M with Jimbo Fisher is going to be a good one. Good. That's what Hunter just brought up. That there are teams in the SEC, they're going to get better over the next 2 years. I'm telling you right now, Tennessee, as much as I hate them, I think they have the right coach. Look at the way they ended that season. They won some games they shouldn't have won.
And they're going to turn around some of the recruiting problems they've had in their home state. I mean, Georgia's been and Georgia's still going to take a lot of people out of. Look at that's Kirby Smart, man, pulling in 5-star recruits like nobody, almost better than anybody in history at this point.
Well, it's not hard. Win, you're going to bring people in. Alabama and Georgia for the next few years are not going to have a problem getting people that want to come play. Listen, If you're a running back, what school do you want to go to?
Oh, you want to go to Georgia? Running back, you baby.
I mean, look. Think about the NFL right now. You've got Chubb, you've got Michelle, Todd Gurley.
Number one rated fantasy back there is.
If you're a running back, there's no school to go to except for one. That's UGA. If you're a defensive back, you got two schools to choose from, probably LSU and Florida, right? But if you're a running back, that's where you're going.
UGA is where it is, man.
And if you want to play football and you want to win national championships, you're going to go to Alabama. So recruiting is going to win everything. Georgia is going to. They're going to continue to. They're number 2. Yeah, they're number 2 right now.
Possibly they could have the number 1 recruiting class. And the 2019 class could actually eventually, depending on a couple of different recruits.
Listen, Doug Conkle and Rusty Manziel over on 680 The Fan. They do the recruiting show, and as you listen every week, you hear about these 5-star recruits, and they're all going to Georgia.
And think about the fact when Mark Richt was here, he had great recruiting years, couldn't do anything with it. Couldn't pull in 5-star recruits to save his life.
No.
Kirby's dragging them in right and left. 5-star guys coming in on the offensive line. How much of a difference has that made already?
Oh
even with the youth on the offensive line, they've had talent though.
Yeah.
They've had talent stacks.
Yeah.
So and he's just about at a point. I was reading this the other day. I mean, where he's going to pull in more 5-star recruits in the next 2 classes than we've ever seen.
Oh, absolutely. And he's not just pulling them from here.
No, he's not.
He's not just pulling them from here.
He's pulling them like from
South Carolina,
Alabama,
Florida. I mean, he's getting people from all over. He's going to get kids out of California again. He's going to get kids out of Dallas. He's going to get kids to come to this school. Dan Mullen's is going to get more. Look, Florida State and Miami helped Dan Mullen and the Florida Gators out tremendously this season. He's going to be able to recruit Florida like no one else.
Oh, sure.
I mean, who do you want to play for? A team that wasn't supposed to even be close, who is now playing in a New Year's Bowl?
Yeah.
I mean, so this conference is going to continually get better and better and better, and people are going to be more upset because I'm going to be honest with you. If you look right now, and I don't care if you don't think Vegas has anything to do with sports, but look at the lines right now for the games.
That is a factor. Because who knows more about the outcomes of games in Vegas if you look at the way those lines turn out from week to week?
So now you're looking at a team where, and this is hypothetical, of course, but
that's called it's rigged.
What do you think the line would be right now? What do you think the line would be right now for Alabama, Georgia?
Alabama, Georgia for a national championship game?
Yep. Or even a playoff game.
Or just a game between them.
Yeah.
Yeah, a neutral site game.
Yeah.
It would be Alabama favored, but Alabama only favored by less than a touchdown, maybe 4.5 points.
Okay. What do you think?
I would say Alabama probably minus 6.5, but I mean, compare that to Notre Dame. Notre Dame's going to be a 13-point underdog.
Yeah, they're easily a 13-point underdog right now. I was thinking more like 3.5, 4.5 too. I'm thinking Alabama by 3.
But we're all under a touchdown.
We're all under a touchdown.
Whereas they play anybody else,
2 touchdowns.
Maybe even including Clemson. It's going to be more than a touchdown. I think if they played Clemson, that it would be a 8 to 10 point line.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think Clemson is probably a little bit over a touchdown, but I know that Notre Dame that's a 2 touchdown.
That's a 2 touchdown game.
I think Oklahoma is about 10 points. 11.
No.
I think it's 11. I think is the line right now on that game.
It's actually, if the Notre Dame would be a 2 touchdown spread, it would be more than 2 touchdowns as far as the outcome.
The outcome I don't think is going to be close to what Vegas thinks it is.
No.
I think Alabama would roll
hard
over Notre Dame. I don't think Notre Dame stands a chance. Not a chance. I don't think they stand a chance against Clemson. I think Clemson's going to beat them by 20.
I think they're going to get murdered.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't think they belong there. And I think Oklahoma, I think Kyler Murray's fantastic. I really do. And I didn't think he was a Heisman winner. I think Tua should have won the Heisman this year. But at the same time, I see what Kyler Murray did, and he is really, really an impressive quarterback. He's going to score. Okay, so Alabama's favored by 14 over Oklahoma, according to OddShark.
And they're going to beat Oklahoma by more than that.
I think they're going to be. Now, look, Oklahoma can put up points.
Sure, they can.
Can they put up points on an SEC defense?
They haven't faced a defense like this all year.
No. No, and that's part of the problem. I don't know what people see because I sit and look, I'm like Stephen A. Smith was today, which we need to talk about too for maybe a few minutes. But I am not, I'm not the all-knowing, but I do know one thing. When I watch Pac-12, when I watch Big 12, when I watch the Big 10, okay, I don't see defense.
No, not at all.
I don't see anybody capable of playing defense in those.
No, and maybe the SEC more so than any other league, professional or college. Obviously, in college, they are the team. They are the league that is stalwart as far as still putting defenses on the field, and even the defenses in the SEC, by SEC standards, haven't been top to bottom as great as they have been in years past, and maybe never will be again by virtue of what the game has turned into. But you're still going to see a better quality of defense as a whole from the SEC.
Yeah, I mean,
by a lot.
Think Florida and LSU right now, their defense, it's pretty impressive.
Sure. I mean, you'll see some great defensive, across the Big Ten too. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, Florida's defense did not lose a game for them this year. Their offense lost those games. If Florida had an offense, Georgia would not have won that game. Florida's defense held Georgia on the 1 yard line for 6 straight plays.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
That drove me nuts, man. That drove me nuts.
That is ridiculous. LSU did the same thing. I mean, they're good defenses in the SEC. Oklahoma would never even get into the red zone, I don't think, against some of the defenses that, and if Notre Dame were to play in the SEC, if they were to join this conference, I got bad news for them. Same thing with UCF. If they decided that they wanted to join a different conference and move into the SEC, I got bad news for you. You're not going to go undefeated anymore.
Three losses at minimum.
Minimum 3 losses. Minimum 3 losses. You're going to beat a Vanderbilt probably. I think UCF could beat a Vanderbilt.
Sure.
I'm hoping LSU.
Maybe.
I'm hoping LSU will step up this this bowl season. I'm hoping. The hard part about this bowl season now is you got kids going to the NFL. They're going to go for the money. They're not going to want to play in these bowl games. They don't want a chance.
And I don't blame them.
I don't blame him either.
No.
I don't blame him.
I mean, it all started with Christian McCaffrey, and people had such a problem with that. And initially, I did too. Like, I felt like he was letting his team down. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, think about the way the rules are structured around the way players are treated.
Sports fans are stupid sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, and I started thinking more about how, coaches.
We're selfish.
What they can do, and then how they can leave a program, and it's so heavily structured. You don't even have a stipend for these guys who are making millions of dollars hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
For that spread around through all these schools in the NCAA, funding not only football but every program they have at their universities, and then these guys can't even have a stipend. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, hell yeah, yeah. I wouldn't go out there and take a chance.
No, why would you? And this is where sports fans we're selfish, and I understand it.
Very selfish.
Listen, we're whether we whether we like it or not, okay, we're still stuck in the 50s and 60s mentality of things. Okay,
we're like two clams. We're two shellfish.
We think all sports athletes are dumb. That they don't we just don't believe in these kids. We don't believe in them. They're just athletes. They shouldn't be making this kind of money. They get paid to play a sport, blah blah blah. But I will tell you this. If your kid was a scientific genius and he was 15 years old and NASA came to him and said, "We need this kid. He's going to change the world. We're willing to give you $15 million a year to come work for us. I know he's only 14. You as a father are going to pack his bags and get him right out of the house, and you're not going to think twice about letting him go and not finish in high school, are you?"
Be like, "Get out of the house, Doogie.
Bye. Bye." Hey, I know you haven't learned our address yet, but this is where you're going to send these checks, kiddo. But with athletes, we get so upset.
Son, have you ever heard of direct deposit?
Y'all have that direct deposit there at NASA? God, but yeah, you can't blame a kid for leaving school early.
You can't.
And I know you feel let down because, well, that's my team and that's blah blah blah. Come on, man. This kid could blow. Look at poor Willis McGahee. Look what happened to him in the national championship game. Against Ohio State. This kid in Miami was one of the best running backs I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, and even if you have insurance for that kind of thing, it doesn't nearly cover what your earning potential would be, even if you had the average career of maybe 3 or 4 years in the NFL.
That knee buckled so bad. It's one of the worst injuries I think I've ever seen.
Oh, it blowed up real good.
It blew up. Hang on.
Hang on.
Uh-oh, hold on.
Yeah, that thing flies apart there. 1 second he's a running, he's a shitting and getting. Next thing you know, that thing blows up like, god dang Bo Jackson's hip. Springs and bolts and stuff all over the field.
I like the little. Yeah, so you can't blame a kid for leaving and not want to play. I know that as part of the program, you want, all your players there, and you want to win, you want to represent. I want LSU to represent the SEC well and blow out UCF. I think everybody in the country wants to hear UCF shut up.
Sure.
I'm tired of them too.
Absolutely.
So,
but at least they can go ahead and just claim a national championship and assuage themselves that way. I'm glad your self-esteem is so intact that you can just make shit up.
Yeah. I'm undefeated too. I've never lost a football game. Not one.
They gave themselves a trophy and rings and everything, didn't they?
I could get a ring, I guess, right?
Yeah, sure. We can have anything made up.
Ooh, radio rings.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
The
Ratings rings.
We are the ratings champion.
Thank you for coming to this meeting. I'd like to say that Rhino and the crew are going to get ratings rings.
Yeah.
We just got the numbers back.
I mean, we have 3 people watching. I think one of them is me, but we have at least 2 other people watching our YouTube channel. So I know we're blowing up early.
Yeah, a couple are in British South Guyana. Want to say hello to you folks down there. That's one of our target demos. Good to see you on the broadcast.
We'll be doing this. We'll be doing this weekly. Every week, every Thursday. I promise you, we're going to get better and better. We're going to learn a little bit more about
this is only a test show.
This is a test show,
which means there's actually going to be more bells and whistles. We're going to be putting more pre-recorded comedy content in. Some of it kind of minimally structured. A lot of it ad-libbed and edited together.
Absolutely. And we're going to be politically incorrect.
A lot.
And it's okay to laugh. We all laugh. We all laugh at people. We laugh at ourselves. If you can't laugh at yourselves, who are you going to laugh
at? It's like, for instance, you talked about the Facebook post I did earlier where I kind of warned people. I warned people that there's going to be some politically incorrect stuff going on, and you can be as offended as you like. For instance, specifically...
Let me set this up, and then we'll go into it, okay? And I want to talk about my grandfather.
Right.
Okay? My grandfather didn't have Alzheimer's. He was getting there. He was going to be there. And he was getting dementia. Well, we put him in a home here in Georgia. Well, part of the problem was he would escape every once in a while, and I'd find him walking. And luckily, the home wasn't far from where we were living. But I'd find him walking, have to get him and bring him back. Well, one day we went in there. Now, my grandfather was an antique dealer also. And at this point, he had totally... He remembered my name, but he forgot pretty much everything else. And he'd tend to repeat. And as annoying as it would sometimes get, he's a grandfather, so you kind of just deal with it. So, I'd say, yes, I'm wearing pants. Are you wearing pants? Yes, I'm wearing pants. Scotty, are you wearing pants? Grandpa, I'm wearing pants.
Yeah.
So it gets annoying. But one of the best things he ever did was he thought he was an antique dealer. So we were at Hardee's, and they had Garfield mugs, the little glass Garfield mugs with Odie, and they got the little cartoon strip all around it. And he had wrote on the bottom of it his name, Lou.
Right.
And ancient Egyptian cat, antique mug, $10,000. And he would just label all the mugs and all the dishes, the plants, the lights, with little Post-it notes and little stickers with prices on them, and everything was an antique. Everything. If you bought it from IKEA, it didn't matter. It was a Swedish, antique worth $10,000.
But this is a great thing for somebody with dementia because he's engaged.
He was having a blast.
And
he also thought everything belonged to him.
Right.
Okay. And in the home, one day I walked in, and I was like walking down the hall, and they had a big chandelier hanging, and I'm like, I wonder what happened to that chandelier. I wonder if it fell. I hope no one got hurt, because I noticed that the sheetrock had kind of broken apart and that it was completely gone, but there were still like 2 wires hanging out, and I'm like, this can't be safe. So I went up to the front desk, and I was like, hey, I don't know if you guys noticed, but did the chandelier fall, and did anybody get hurt? And they go, no. The weirdest thing, we came in this morning, and the chandelier was completely gone. I'm like, wow, okay, that's weird. So I walk into my grandfather's room, and I go in his closet because he asked me to get something, and there's a chandelier in the closet. I go, Grandpa, why is the chandelier? They took my chandelier. Who did? The hotel. What hotel? The hotel I'm staying in here. They took my chandelier and hung it up. I took it back. So he took
for him.
he took the vases out of the hall, all the antique vases that they got at TJ Maxx or wherever. But so the dementia thing, and we always
listen. And there's also some benefits from that too. For instance, he sold a Tasmanian devil glass from the collection at Hardee's for $10,000.
yeah, someone bought it. So we put it away. We put it in a stock, and we're rich now.
Big thing of money, big envelope of money. Grandpa, where did this come from? I sold the glass with the thing on it.
But we sat for lunch today, Hunter, AJ, and I.
And by the way, my mother had dementia too for the last probably 8 to 10 years of her life. It was getting worse and worse and worse. I use this as an example on Facebook that even though that was a horrible time that she went through, obviously, and our family went through, and we had a lot of the same experience, had to repeat a lot of stuff. Well, she looked at my sister one day and she says, "Now, where do I know you from?" and we laugh, but it's
not funny,
and it's heartbreaking
but it's funny.
when your mother looks at you and she goes, "Why do you so nice? How do I know you that you're so nice to me and stuff when we were taking care of her?" But my point is that we came up with a bit about dementia today.
Yeah.
That was funnier than hell.
Yeah.
And we have no problem doing that sometime in the future because we really believe that a lot of times humor like this, far from being offensive, can actually help in the healing process.
Yeah. So that being said, if you do have a family with dementia or Alzheimer's, give us a call, 404-424-9119.
And we're going to send you some waivers for them to sign. They won't care.
It'll be one of the best game shows you'll ever see.
Absolutely. And there will be real prizes.
Real prizes.
Yeah. A lot of it's going to be
Hardee's glasses. with Garfield on them.
But we're going to have price tags hanging off them, and don't worry, we'll sell it. We'll sell it.
All right. Well, we've been going for over an hour. We would keep going forever if we could, but I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I think we did a good test show. We're going to continue this. Please subscribe. Click and subscribe to our channel. We need to get a bunch of people so that we can get a better channel name. Our channel name right now is BMDW9TL7421. See, we want to get it down to Rhino and Cannon. We want to get it down to Rhino and Cannon Radio, so we need you to click and subscribe.
We only need 10, right?
Plus, I need gas money. We need 10 people. 10 people. I want to, please, help us. Click, subscribe.
Do you have no plasma left?
No, I've got nothing left.
That's a shame.
Nothing left.
I'll tell you what, for somebody with no plasma left, you're holding up pretty good.
And I've been thrown out of the sperm bank.
Oh, jeez.
We'll talk about that another night.
Okay, all right.
So give us a call anytime. Hit us up on Facebook. Tell your friends. Share our post. For Hunter Williams, thank you, Hunter. We're going to learn more about this. I promise that we'll get all the audio from the phones corrected. We'll get Hunter's audio corrected. We'll get our cameras corrected, even though I think the cameras worked out real well.
They did.
And not to break down the fourth wall, but the rubber band has held that camera that's on you the entire day.
This camera right here that I'm pointing at is actually been held up by a rubber band the entire time.
The entire time.
Remember, I'm telling you, I got to get this story in real quick.
Hold on.
First,
let's break down the fourth wall.
Get a picture
break down the fourth wall here.
Okay, there's a picture of this is the cam. It's like
this is the cam.
The cam it's like an iPhone cam.
There are the rubber bands.
So the rubber bands are on it. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, ain't there gonna be some lines on the screen? Now the reason that struck me as being so funny, I used to work with a guy named Bo Bach.
Who's that man looking at me in your phone?
I got a line across my forehead. I used to work with a guy named Bo Bach, who for years, a legend in the Atlanta sports business. I worked with him for years.
Not only that, a professional wrestler.
Professional wrestler named Dutch Treat used to wear wooden shoes.
Wooden clogs.
So anyway, we were doing a show and we had the headphones like this, and he was having trouble hearing his headphones. So he looks at the cord, and he goes, he says, "Oh, I know why I can't hear anything. This thing is all knotted up." So it's like, Bach, the headphone cord isn't like a water hose. you don't have it knotted up and like the sound's all trapped back here.
Hold on.
Then,
Watch this. Ready?
It's like, Bo. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. I was like, hey, hey, Bot, don't untangle that thing all at once because all that sound that's been coming. You might want to let that out a little bit at a time there, champ.
While we're on Bobak, I got to tell this story because this is similar to when we went down for we were on our way to Jacksonville. Now Steak Shapiro had a connection to Shoney's back then.
Okay? He had a connection to every restaurant.
He had a connection to Shoney's because his ex-wife at that time I think was an executive with Shoney's or something. So we stopped there for a breakfast, and
He's always got a guy. You gotta love
he
that.
always knows someone. So we get into the Shoney's and we start eating and we're having a good time. And I'm like, Mr. Bach, Mr. Shapiro, I was younger and new at this, but it was my first trip. And Steak was being real nice and said, "Hey, do you want to go to Florida, Georgia?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to, sir." And whatever. So they decided to bring me down. So I was really excited to be hanging out with all you guys. So I was really excited about it. And so we're sitting in the Shoney's, and I get up and I'm like, I'm gonna have to go to the restroom. Excuse me for a minute. So I go out. I come back and I sit down. And as I sit down, the servers start coming over, and I hear, "Happy birthday to you." And I'm like, oh, wow, it's someone's birthday. And I'm looking, and they're getting closer and closer, and I'm like, ooh. And I turn, like, see no one's behind me, and they're coming right at me, and I'm like, and then Bo and Steak are singing, say, "Happy birthday." And you do Bo. And
Happy birthday to you.
So I'm sitting there, and they put the cake in front of me, and Bo Bach leans over to me.
Happy birthday, you hump.
You hump. Bo leans over and says in my ear, "That's my cake. I know it's not your birthday, but if you say anything, I'll cut you." And I sat there and I looked at the cake and I was so scared and I was like, "Thank you, thank you." And as soon as they left, Bo just kind of looked and took the cake from me.
That's a Bach.
It was so beautiful.
We were in I got to do it. We were in San Diego. It's a stream of consciousness. We were in San Diego for the Super Bowl. We were there for a week covering. It was Green Bay and Denver.
Yeah.
It was back in San Diego, 90-something, 98, 99. So we ended up with the rental car staying out in Mission Valley because they came and said, "Oh, they ran out of rooms in the media hotel, and so you guys have to go to Mission Valley." I'm like, "That sucks." And he's like, "Bo's like, stop." He's like, "Okay, we got it." He was happy with that because we got the rental car because we were leaving. So we was all over the stadium.
Right.
But we went to this restaurant not far from the stadium in Mission Valley, and this guy comes over. Bo orders wine, big wine guy. So the guy comes over and we're just talking, and I'm just engaged in a conversation with him. The guy comes and pours the wine and steps back so Bo can taste the wine. And Bach has the wine glass in his hand and he's still talking. And he takes a sip of the wine, sets his glass down, spits in it. "This wine for pigs!" As loud as he could.
Oh God, I love Bo Bach. We got to get him up here. Maybe we can get him on here.
I think we could. It might be hard to get him in the building.
Wheelchair?
No, 680 thing.
No.
Yeah. I don't know if he'd want to do it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can always go on location.
That we could do.
All right.
That would be.
We'll do that for Bo Bach.
He would be all about that.
We'll get on location. I miss Bo Bach. Love him.
I do too, man. I miss him a lot.
All right. Well, please remember, click and subscribe for AJ Cannon, for Hunter Williams. I am Rhino. Hopefully you'll join us next week. Like I said, promise, we'll keep talking sports. We're going to have a lot more fun. We want you to be involved. Send us a message. Tell us what you think. Put it on our YouTube channel. Tell your friends. Please help us out. We'll be having more and more fun.
We're also going to piss some people off.
And we're going to piss people off. So have fun. Have a great night. Good to see everyone. And you have music?
Yeah. You've been listening to Rhino and Cannon. Brought to you by Dickies Work Pants. Look like a loser, feel like one too. And the new Crocodile Blondie and Buttman 12 from Vivid Video. Tune in again next week for Rhino and Cannon with Hunter Williams, a division of Beatrice.